Hello and welcome, Dolphin fans. John Congemi here, and you are watching the Audible this afternoon after a victorious Sunday. The Miami Dolphins on the road with the LA Chargers, and they find a way to win the football game. And one of the guys most responsible for that victory is place kicker Cody Parkey. And Cody, thanks for joining us today. And take us through a little bit about that excitement about being on the road, I guess, for about a week, close to 10 days, and then finally getting to game day. And your number called not once but 4 times, but you get the game winner.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Obviously I got claimed on waivers. I was here for 2 days. Hurricane Irma hit, so we got the week off. So I went back home. I joined the team back up on Tuesday, and then we were in a complete different atmosphere. None of the guys budged. We all just said, "Hey, this is it." So we went out there. Had a good couple days of practice. You just suit up for the game, and you never really know what to expect, but you're ready for anything. And that was the mindset I had, and I'm glad I was able to come through for the team, and when they needed it most.
Well, you came through in a major way. You go 4 for 4. I think you're perfect now. 6 for 6 and 50+ yard kicks. One of those things that the gimmies are just as important as they're all important.
Sure.
But the shorter ones are just as important as the longer ones. And when the Dolphins offense kind of stalled in the red zone, you were there early to get points on the board, and that was very much important to keep pace with the Chargers.
Sure, and there was never any hesitation. They just sent me out for a field goal. They knew I had to give me the opportunity to go in there and make the kicks, and like I said, I'm blessed to be in this position. Worked really hard to get where I'm at, and I'm very glad that things went my way.
Take the fans through your history. A Jupiter native, Florida. I know you went to Auburn University and placed kicker there. A couple of NFL stops.
Yep.
But your team has been the Miami Dolphins, and your family's team, it seems like, has been the Miami Dolphins. So how excited are you to get this opportunity, not only to wear the uniform, but be a major contributor in week 1?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, born and raised in Jupiter, Florida. Grew up a Miami Dolphins fan, Miami Heat, Marlins,
anything,
Panthers,
Miami,
anything.
Miami.
Yeah, so grew up a fan. I get all the updates on the phone all the time. I had a few pit stops here throughout the NFL, but God had a plan for me, and He landed me here, which is pretty neat. I get to be close to my family and all my friends. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Just this opportunity to be here. Not many people can say that. So, to say you're one of the top, kickers in the world is pretty neat. So, and to play for the Dolphins, just icing on the cake.
Yeah, there's only 32 of them walking the earth, right? So you've got one of those jobs. And, when Jay Cutler arrived at the Miami Dolphins and all his experience in the National Football League, he talked about having synergy and getting timing with the receivers and the centers and shotgun and placement and doing all those things. For a kicker, how are the mechanics with the snapper and the holder and getting used to new mechanics for you guys? How does that work?
Yeah, every kicker really differs. Some guys like more time, some guys like less time. So I think, the first thing we had to make sure is to get Matt Hawk to hold the ball like I like to hold the ball. And to get John to go at a pace where it works for both of us. So, and those guys were both very whatever I can do to help. So that was awesome. And we got 3 or 4 days of kicking in before the first game, which is huge for me to get a rhythm down. And Coach Rizzi schedules practice in a way where, it's very game-like, the field goals I get to kick. So everything kind of just worked out, and they have a good plan here, and it's working. We're 1-0, so we are very happy today.
You got to feel great also because you mentioned Darren Rizzi, the special teams coordinator. He's a guy that's pounding his chest and pounding the table when you're available, and he goes out and gets you. And that's that's showing supreme confidence in your ability. How did that make you feel, knowing that the Dolphins at the time were very secure in what they were doing place kicking wise? They had a guy that was proven last year. That had to make you feel pretty good about a guy going out and kind of saying, no, this is my guy. I believe in this guy. And when I get a chance to get him, he scooped you up.
Yeah, it definitely makes you want to play for a coach like that really, like you said, sticks out his chest for you and really believes in you. And the whole week he made sure, he's like, you good. He wanted to make sure everything was perfect for me. And to have a coach like that, Coach Gaze, Coach Rizzi, to have my back like that, it's an incredible feeling. And so that makes you want to go out and play, extremely hard for them.
Take us through the mindset, what's going through your mind. I know every kick's probably exactly the same.
Yeah.
You've got a routine. You've got something that you kind of go through. But you know that, I'm going to make this kick. I'm going to get out and I'm going to go through my mechanics and I'm going to make it. Take us through how you prepare for a kick and especially for the game winner.
Yeah, so, I start, we pass the 50, I throw on the helmet, I kick in the net, field goal team gets called up, and everything kind of just, I'm pretty loose out there. I just go out there and I pick a target that I want to aim at. And, if I can come close to that vicinity, that's usually a good thing. So I pick a target above the fans and all that. So really I'm only focused on that target. And then I give Matt the nod. He snaps the ball, and then from there, all my muscle memory from years of kicking and all the hard work I put in this offseason just comes into play, and my body takes over.
What did it feel like when you made it? You hit it well. You made it. You probably Hawk's the first guy that probably gives you a big squeeze, but seeing the guys come off the bench and embracing you, that had to be a welcome to the Miami Dolphins moment for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, leading up to that, I saw we were having a little drive, and then we stopped, and I was like, all right, these guys believe in me to hit this kick, so that made me believe in myself even more. So obviously I went to celebrate with Matt for the good hold, and then John, and then the whole line for blocking for me. So it was pretty special. Pretty special day.
So when you're walking to the sidelines, how many players are you meeting for the first time? Is it, oh, by the way, great kick.
Yeah.
How did that go?
They probably didn't know my name until then, until the announcer said it, and likewise. But I met a lot of guys, and they sped it up to where I had to kick off, immediately after that. So I was kind of like out of breath. I'm like, all right, guys, I still got to kick off here. So
that's right.
I kind of brought myself back to earth.
That's kind of a lost art in terms of knowing, fans knowing, and guys like me knowing, the first couple kicks go out of the end zone, but then the plan may have changed. The plan's going a little bit higher with a higher arcing kick, trying to land it around the goal line, maybe the 2-yard line, maybe 2 yards deep. Is that kind of something that you go through game to game and kick to kick?
Yeah, absolutely. There's situations of the game where you want to hit it out in the end zone and set the tone. And there's situations of the game where you're like, all right, let's not let them get it to the 25 by kicking a touchback. Let's make them, let's try to get them inside the 15. So I think there's situations that we can do both, and just go out there, and I do whatever the coach tells me to do. Obviously I try to do it to perfection every time, which sometimes doesn't happen. But I go out there and I try my best, and I think we executed pretty well on kickoff. What
do you like to do? I mean, you're a Florida guy. What do you like to do off the field? Enlighten some of the fans on. Are you a boater? Are you a golfer? Or what's your thing away from football?
Pretty boring Florida answer. I like to fish, golf, jet ski, all that good stuff that Jupiter has to offer. So I try to take advantage of all that, and just relax.
And talking about Jupiter, commuting back and forth, we were talking before we went on today and the Audible started about trying to find a place here, getting some more stability closer to the Davie facility. What's that whole dynamic been like for you, going from one team to the next, coming down and now having some success, early success? Does that give you confidence in wanting to, get your next kick, to make your next game that much more meaningful?
Sure. I mean, the way I look at it is, I think I told you before, I never let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. So, as soon as I made that kick, my mindset was immediately on the kickoff.
Right.
So I'm just like not even thinking about it. I got to enjoy it a little bit after the game, but just going in and just knowing that, there's 15 more games till the playoffs. So I just had to lock in. It's a new week. So it's just that game didn't even exist. So now I'm just going to go up to next week and try to do my best versus New York.
Well, up at the MetLife Stadium next week, next Sunday against the division rival, the hated Jets, I guess.
Right.
And what's good for you? You probably felt like that all your life. So nothing's going to change when you go and face the Jets. Being a member of the Miami Dolphins, correct?
Exactly, yep. So, I'm excited to be here and go Dolphins.
Well, Cody, congratulations on the opening win as a teammate and a member of the Miami Dolphins. Couldn't have been more perfect. 4 for 4, the game winner from plus 50 yards out. And just want to say welcome to the Miami Dolphins. It was nice meeting you. Good spending some time with you, and look forward to doing it again.
Thank you.
You got it. Cody Parkey, the place kicker and extraordinaire for the Miami Dolphins. So one of those game winners is always something that you can really, hang your hat on. When you've got a kicker that can come in and make plays like that, it just extraordinary. Who we got here? I didn't even recognize you. I haven't seen you in about 10 days. Kim Bokamper.
I'm late to the dance here, man.
Yeah, take over. I want you want your chair back?
No, you're good. No, okay. It feels good being over here.
All right.
We'll just follow up this. A great day yesterday for the football team. Great day for Cody Parkey. And, it's always nice to see a guy come in late like that. And like he said, coming off the field, half the guys probably didn't know who the heck he was.
Absolutely. He's like, hey, congratulations. Yeah, exactly. I'm Mike Pouncey.
Exactly. So good. But, that team, funny. It was funny, John, because traveling with the team last week and going through everything with Hurricane Irma And even Hurricane Harvey before, where the guys were focused on that. You had Xavier, and then you had Michael Thomas,
right.
Doing money raising funds, raising goods, doing everything. It was a crazy week, and then to go out there and all of a sudden you find yourself on game day a week behind everybody else, and to go out and put that kind of effort. And look, it wasn't beautiful. It wasn't the prettiest thing out there, but I think you saw a lot of good things. And the one thing you saw, John, it's a carryover from last year. It's a 60-minute football team. These guys went there, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, geez, you got to do something." And then, it comes right down to that last kick, and it was remarkable. And I felt so good for the players because you could just see the relief, just the weight lifting off their shoulders for a lot of different things.
A lot of stress going on. Not only playing in your first game of the 2017 season, but all the pressure. Hey, is my family okay? I wonder if my house is still there. Electricity on. How much damage do I have? How long are we staying out here? We're going to have off tomorrow. So I have time to get back and do the things I need to do.
I think one thing that really helps this football team under those kind of trying circumstances, and heaven knows this team's been under some trying circumstances for the last couple of years around here, is that, and I don't want to get on the bandwagon about Stephen Ross, but this guy makes it as easy for his guys to meander through a maze of almost unbelievable magnitude,
right?
To find a quiet environment, a safe environment, a place where they can focus on football, but also their family, bringing their families out and all that. And I could just see the comfort in the players having their families and their kids out there during the course of the week. So he's got to give a lot of credit for keeping the equilibrium of this football team from spiraling out of control, which it very easily could have.
It could have, and it comes, as you said, it comes from the top.
Yep.
It filters down to the management, with Tom Garfinkel and all the people there, and then it does in this building.
Yeah.
With Mike Tannenbaum and Chris Greer and the head coach Adam Gase, and the coaches get it.
Yeah.
Those guys get it, and I think it's that synergy that helps the Miami Dolphins in times where things aren't always perfect. Yeah. I think the organization, a lot of people say, players or coaches or teams have grit. I think that going through last season, the way they found opportunities to win games, I think that there's a lot of grit on this football team, and I think that you have an opportunity when they arise. You can do things and find ways to win, and I think it becomes second nature to them that we're okay.
Yeah.
We've got 30 minutes left. We've got a quarter left. We've got time to get this through and get ourselves in position to win a game.
And John, you can't do that by talking about it in meetings. You can't look at tape and you can't talk guys into it. And fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at about this football team, it seems like every game they played last year
was like
came down to the fourth quarter, the last drive. Are we going to kick the field goal?
Right.
Are we going to keep them from scoring? And so, they're hardened to that. And the good thing too, John, and we talked about a lot during the offseason, you keep the guys like Kenny Stills, you keep the Andre Branches, you re-sign Kiko, you keep the core, and it's really the first time. I was reading the newspaper yesterday going into the football game. We're out in L.A., and I was reading the article about this football team, and they're talking about, 8 guys returning from the offense.
Right.
These many. And I can't recall the last time I ever heard this team talked about in that kind of because grabbing free agents, letting your guys go, this and that.
Yeah,
and there's a synergy now around this football team.
You're trying to reach and grab for success when it might be already on your team. You just need to cultivate what you have.
Exactly.
And I think the Miami Dolphins realized that. They realized it in their head coach, and I think their head coach made management believe that. And you look around, and that's your core players. That we do have good players. We have good character guys.
Yes.
And I think when you go out and you try to buy that, sometimes it always doesn't.
And that character pays off in games like yesterday.
That's right.
When those guys, when you're sitting there in the fourth quarter and you go, I don't think it's going to, and, guys start drooping. These guys never put their head down. I'm looking at them on the sideline, and they're just anxious to get out there and play. And the other thing I think, John, that really struck me out of that game is for all and we've all heard the clamor and we've all heard the talk and about Jay Cutler and what his personality is, and does he care? Is he emotional? Is he is he separate from the team? Is he is he aloof? All those things that we've heard, and I haven't seen one iota of that since Jay Cutler got here. Now, maybe it's just a group of guys he's with. I think he and Matt Moore have really bonded well, and I think he's integrated into what this team's all about from an emotional standpoint. And to hear him after the game yesterday talking about, geez, you go in that locker room after these. I've been around winning locker rooms before. He says, but when I walked in that locker room, this is a different group of guys.
Right.
They're a different group of guys, and I think it's made him younger. I think it's made him enjoy the moment more, and the fact that he's with Adam Gase and around a football team like this, I think it's gonna pay dividends for him and for this team down the road.
I thought it was pretty cool to just see his expression after the kick. Because he was excited. He looked like a young player that had his first taste of winning. And I thought that was pretty cool. And the other thing I really liked about watching the game is his pocket presence, how he was able to extend a couple of plays, anticipate the pressure that was coming, especially on the Stills touchdown, where he knew he had to get out of there a lot quicker than maybe some other quarterbacks might have, and be able to get out and give Kenny an opportunity to anticipate where he was going to be. He knew the coverage on the linebacker and gave him a chance to throw the football up. Same way with Devontae. He retreats away from pressure after he gets in front of the Dolphin bench and throws up a pass knowing there's no coverage behind.
He got the wherewithal just to fling. I mean, he flung that ball up. And like you said, as soon as he threw that ball, as soon as I saw him, I go, no. But then as soon as I saw the trajectory of the ball, I said, for a guy that's fighting for his life at that moment, he puts the ball in the only place he can put it where he knows the defenders can't get to it because they're behind it. And he knows that if he puts it up and again, and it worked out. And so, you see that kind of, that kind of intuitiveness that you get out of a guy like Jay Cutler. And you talk about him running, he's never going to run down the field.
No.
And he's may every now and then. But this is where he reminds me a little of Dan Marino. Just that, I always said Danny was the best guy within a 3-yard square in the pocket.
Yeah.
Stepping up, sliding, feeling the guy come
there
back.
When he needs
staying
to.
when he needs to and doing the whole thing. And you see some of that out of Jay Cutler, and I think a lot of that goes to Adam Gase and the relationship. And I know when Jay got here, that's one of the first things they worked on is, keeping that movement in the pocket, keeping plays alive, not being a target back there that's not going to move. And I think we saw the effects of that yesterday and throughout the preseason.
Bo, I know you're an expert at this. I'm a rookie at this, but I do want to ask you, there's a question that came in. What about the Dolphin fans?
Oh, it's crazy.
At the stadium yesterday. It looked like a Dolphin takeover.
It really did. And it was great because at the end of the game, when the Dolphins needed to score there, you could hear them, let's go Dolphins, and then, defense. And I was kind of looking around at it. Well, it's an odd situation to begin with. You've got half of it. LA could care less about the Chargers.
Right.
They could care less about that football team. They don't care much about the Rams. And they care less about the Chargers.
They have 85,000 at the USC game. Game?
I just saw a thing in the paper. They had more fans at the USC Texas game than they had for the Rams and the Chargers combined. Yeah. So, but they're ambivalent about the football team. They don't care. And so you got some of the diehards maybe coming up from San Diego, but even those people, they don't want to come up there because they're mad that their team left.
Right.
And so they're really in a bad situation. But it was really good to see out there last year. Yesterday, and much like it was the year before in San Diego, where half of the stadium, even in San Diego when they played down there, were Dolphin fans. So for everybody out there that bemoans the fact that when the Dolphins play the Jets or when New England comes to town, there's a lot of their fans in. Well, go on the road sometime and see how many fans are out there traveling with this football team, and you'd be very surprised.
And it's probably going to be the same thing this week at MetLife Stadium.
It was like that last year up there. Jets were so bad that fans were. I
mean, it's early in the season, so you might have some optimism, even though you're 0-2. But there's an opportunity for Dolphin fans to get together at MetLife Stadium. Yep. And Dolphins Mike, number one, he said he was part of the LA takeover. Very proud to be out there.
They should be. They should be because they were loud. They were proud. They wore their colors and everything. And it felt very much like at least a neutral field. And if not, certainly when it came to crunch time, When it came to crunch time in that game, it was definitely a pro Dolphins stadium.
Right. And we have to mention the fact about Lawrence Timmons not being with the team, leaving the team. And I know that head coach Adam Gase is going to have his press conference, I believe, around 3:00 today, and I'm sure he's going to be addressing that. You can get that on Dolphins.com. You can get it on the Dolphins social media pages. So you're going to be able to watch that and hear for yourself what's going to happen, what the outcome of Lawrence Timmons. But that kind of I was really looking forward to watching him play yesterday, because I thought, in my opinion, besides William Hayes, that was a huge acquisition. Before the Jay Cutler scenario ended up coming to be real and a need for the Miami Dolphins. But
it's disappointing.
It's going to be interesting.
It's tough. Look, look, I mean, I was there obviously, and you're talking to people and usually if you're around, you can find somebody and, hey, what's going on? And you kind of get a little feel for it. Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going on. And I'm sure at the very highest level, they had some idea what was going on, but really, I don't think we're able to grasp it, because, you wake up in the morning of the game, the opening day, and you're like, whoa, what?
Where's one of our starters?
So it was an odd situation, and you hope everything's all right with he and his family. Certainly, you're concerned about his well-being, his family's well-being, if that's the case. But I don't know that that's the case or not. Nobody really knows the case. But I'm assuming, based on the experience I've had with Lawrence Timmons since he's been here, this guy loves to play football, loves to be in Miami. So I'm assuming there's something deep that really caused. Because I just can't see him, just deciding on a whim.
He's gone.
I'm gone. I'm out of here.
He seems the type to me that
he started 101
you can
straight.
count on him.
Started in 101 straight games. He's played in 120 straight games.
Right.
This isn't a guy that looks to get away from games.
Right.
It's a guy that looks to get in games. So there's got to be something more to it. And look, it'll come out eventually. And like I said, I just hope it's nothing that's family-wise it's bad for him. But if it's just a case where he kind of freaked out at some point, he's going to have to make amends in that locker room. There's no question. At some point when this thing is done, he's going to have to look his teammates in the eye and say either, hey, look, I had a situation I couldn't get out of, or hey, guys, I screwed up. I apologize. Right. I need you guys to take me back. And I think guys will in this football team. But it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days. And look, selfishly, I want to see him on the field. I want to see him. Because watching what he did during training camp, watching what he did in the preseason games, man,
he was a welcome addition to a position of need for the Miami Dolphins. And let's talk about the guys. Let's talk about the positive. Mike Hall and Chase Allen came in and did a very good job. Mike led the Dolphins team, defense and tackles. We saw early that Chase was around the football.
They went at Chase Allen kind of early. They wanted to see what he's about.
Yeah, he
First
showed.
Play, he comes up, makes a play, and
closes down the line of scrimmage and makes a tackle for loss. I mean, there was a lot of good things, and it wasn't the running game that the Chargers were hanging their hat on.
No,
because the Dolphins did a pretty good job.
Well, they did. And for all the talk about the run defense during the offseason, I think you saw it pay off a little bit. And you mentioned one of the guys that, you talk about, Parkey coming in and kicking the field goal, and Jay Cutler coming out and doing what he did. But I still, every time I look at William Hayes, I go, man, what a pickup that was.
I know it.
An under the radar guy. They signed him and no one was jumping up and down. Hey, we got William Hayes. Everyone's going, oh, what is this guy? But man, I tell you what.
What did he say when he signed him? They traded for me, or they signed me for a stapler or a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But man, what a player this guy is, and he got the only sack of the game. And I did an interview with him last week, and I said, everyone talks to you about as being a run stopper, but you have 30 plus career sacks.
Right.
He goes, but I'm here to stop the run. Well, he ends up with one sack in the game, and again played the way you thought he was going to play when it comes to run defense.
I think he says that, Bo, just so he doesn't have to answer any questions from us.
Yeah,
I'm just a run stopper. I'm boring. You don't want to go talk to Dominican or go talk to
he's not really
Cam.
interested in having a long conversation with you.
No. I think he and Devontae go to the same school.
Yeah, exactly.
For that. But both great guys and both guys that are engaging once you finally get to sit down and talk with them. But I just thought yesterday, you said it best. It wasn't a game that you can feel like you beat your chest, that you did everything perfect or even close to perfect. But again, the Dolphins are taking that dynamic that they found last season that led them to 10 wins, and they know, they have a belief. They have, it's kind of inbred in those guys that, don't worry, don't panic, because it's a 60-minute football game, and as long as we can stay close, if we have a chance at the end, I like our chances.
John, you've played on a lot of football teams at all different levels. I've played on a lot of football teams at different levels. And I can tell you, being around this football team, I had the opportunity last year. We were in San Diego for 10 days. We were out in Oxnard for 6 or 7 days, however long it was this time. This is a football team I would love to be a part of.
Yeah.
This is a team I would love to be a part of because they're very close as a team. I mean, from top of the roster to the bottom. Whether you're a practice squad guy, these guys don't treat you any different. You're a part of the team. You're one of our guys, and it says a lot about that. And you see it on the trust on the football field too. Where guys are, they're patting, and you're even starting to see guys now where guys are kind of being critical. Guys, hey, you need to do this,
right?
And they're not being jerks about it, but they're, it's that. When there's a trust on your team, when you can go to a teammate and say, "Come on, man, you got to pick it up,"
right,
and not end up being in a fight.
Well, how about when Cody Parker gets his legs taken underneath him
and
from the bench?
Coming out.
Everybody was on, and then it went to the tunnel.
Well, let me tell you
too.
that's the other thing, John. This football team, and I asked a couple guys in the post game once. I said, "This is going to be a tough football team." I see, someone takes a hit over in the far sideline. I see Jay over there in the sideline,
right.
John with people pushing around. When Devontae went down again, and there were a handful of times on the sideline where these guys were going at it pretty good. And then I watched them go through. That's the biggest mistake you can make in the NFL. Have two teams go out through the same tunnel.
So when I saw that,
I go, oh, they're going out the same tunnel.
And they're not going to hold one team before the other team.
This ain't going to be good.
They do that in high school football.
And sure enough, they got in there, and you could just see like a mass of humanity, and you see fingers up in the air, and I'm going, oh, man, this is
good.
This is crazy. But look, this is a football. I think this is a football team that feels like they've been downtrodden, that they're not getting respect. And they're going to say, you know what, we're going to come out, we're going to beat the crap out of you. And if we got to push and shove you a little bit, and if we got to, throw a bone on you a little bit to get you going or this or that, we're going to do it. And I like that. I want a football team that's got that nasty character to it.
Me too.
And I think they're developing that, which has been very fun to watch.
Well, it's good to have the team back in South Florida. It's good to have you back in South Florida. What's on tap for the Audible? I know we got Wednesday. We're going to be back. And on Friday, we have a high school.
Friday, we're back out on our Football Fridays with the Audible, which has been great. We've, a couple times we're down at Traz, down in North Miami for a game down there. And I'm not sure where we're going this weekend, but I kind of, lost track of all that. But we'll be out there and do that with Joe Rose. And it's fun to get out there with the, John, you go out there to a high school football game.
That's a lot of
fun. And those
fun.
guys come running out there, and you hear the band and, and the flag wavers and everything. It's just a great atmosphere. So I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I'm looking forward to getting back into a routine.
Me
to be
too.
Honest with you.
Back at home. I think it's Booker T and Northwestern at Traz. So
good.
That should be a good outing.
Yeah.
Bo?
Hi, Johnny.
All right.
Sorry for being late.
No, I'm glad you bailed me out here. You did. You came to the rescue. It was good, talking with Cody Parkey, having him on, and game winner, 4 for 4. He was perfect. But Bo will be back with everybody on Wednesday and Friday. And thanks for joining into the Audible today. And remember, Adam Gase press conference today at 3:00. Tune in for that.
Look, Leon's back.
Oh, did Leon? I saw Leon earlier. I thought that was his brother because the guy looked a lot younger than the Leon that I know.
Yeah, it's funny. Leon was out. He was out of the.
Might have been Trey.
He was
out of the
control room, and everything was just running smoothly, right? And all of a sudden,
Bo and Company will be back on Wednesday. We'll see you then.
Thank you.